Welcome. Let's take a look at threshold profiles in CAPC. The first thing we're going to want to do is to log into our CAPC GUI, and that's typically the server name :8181. Once we're logged in, the first thing we're going to need is a group. The reason we need a group is because we're going to apply our threshold profile to a group. So we're going to go to Administration, and we'll go over to Groups, and this takes a moment to load. And we'll see that I've already got a couple of groups created. And we'll take a look at this one called Servers. And what I did was I created a rule. And basically, I set up a rule so that anything that started with, any device that started with my ID in upper or lowercase will be added to the group. So we'll take a look at that. And so it's device name starts with upper or lowercase. All right, and we'll just cancel that. And then we'll come over to items. Let me go back to rules. You need to run these rules manually. There's no automatic update. So once you've got the rules and you want to update your group, you run the rules. When I ran the rules, it populated 5 devices. All start with my ID in either upper or lowercase. Okay, so now that we've got a group, we're ready to create our profile. We'll go to Administration, Threshold Profiles. And we've already got a folder here called CPU, and inside of it we've got a CPU threshold that will monitor CPU usage, and if there's a violation, it'll create an event. But we're going to create a new folder, so we'll go ahead and create a new folder, and we'll call this one Memory. You could use a more logical naming convention in your environment, because in production you want stuff that was more meaningful. Now that I've got a memory folder, I'll create a new profile in it, and we'll just call it Memory Threshold. The folder will be memory, the status will be enabled, and now we need to go ahead and create some event rules. So we'll click new, and we'll give it the same name because we want consistency, so we'll call it Memory Threshold. And the metric family we're going to use is going to be memory. Let me grab that. Memory. Okay, and then the metric we're going to use will be memory utilization. Let me see what we've got here. Use memory percentage. Okay. Actually, no, I like that bottom one there. Utilization percentage. And if we go above 1%, the idea here is to create a threshold that's going to trigger an event immediately so that I have something to show you. In a production environment, you would never use something like this. You would want to use something that was clearly going to be meaningful when it generated events and alarms in your environment. So to clear this, we're going to go ahead, and if it goes below 1%, and you'll notice it wasn't until we added the clear information that the save button became available. So now I've got a name, a metric family. We don't want to aggregate, meaning we don't want to combine all the memory into one value. Utilization percent above 1 will trigger. Utilization percent below 1 will clear, and we'll save that. Now that we've got a threshold, it has rules. The rules has conditions. We'll save that. The next thing we need to do is to come back here and choose our new threshold, and we're going to apply it to a group. Remember, it needs to be applied to something to work. So you click Manage, wait a moment for your groups to load up. We'll choose the Servers group, and you've got to move it over to the right. So we'll do that. We see that we've now got a group to apply to. We'll say OK. And we see that the group is now listed, and we'll go to Events. Now, it's going to take a few minutes to poll. Typical poll cycle is 5 minutes. So we're going to have to wait for that, so we'll stand by. Okay, so it took 5 minutes for CAPC to poll and then evaluate the threshold. And now we see we've got events on several of the servers. We see that it's a device, it's a server, the event was raised, and it's a threshold violation has been raised on physical memory, which is basically what we were looking for. Now, if I want to just refresh where we are. Right now we're in threshold profiles, and we highlighted the profile, and you go to the events tab on the far right. But there's another place to see not just these events, but all events. You would go to dashboards, and then over here under operations displays, you'd see events display. And this would show not just the events that we just looked at for that one profile, but all events that are available in your environment. And so here we see the 3 that we were just looking at, and here's a problem with one of these servers not responding well, so it's got a degraded polling event. And that's basically the gist of it. I do hope this was helpful. Thank you for attending. For more detailed information about this topic, click the information bubble in the top right corner to load the product page. From there you can go to product documentation, visit the CA communities, or see the learning path.